Welcome back, campers, to Ghost Storying. I'm Amy Schuford, psychic medium, and these are my stories of all these spooky locations, haunted tales, and just things that happen in my everyday life as a medium. This takes place in June, and this happens to be at a trail in North Carolina, Carolina Thread Trail. And we're going to call this a case of mistaken identity. So gather around the virtual campfire or the real campfire if you are camping, and let's get started. So a little background about this story. Everybody in the world has abilities, right? We are spiritual beings having a mortal existence. There's so much noise in our everyday lives and so many distractions, different beliefs that we've created, different beliefs of the people surrounding you, that we don't always connect with our spiritual gifts. Some of us push them back. Some people are aware of it, but really don't give it much thought. Whether that's listening to your gut, which is your intuition. People are comfortable and understand, like mother's intuition, about twin talk, those things that are said and unsaid between multiples. And there's some of that within families too, siblings. But anybody who comes into a family that carries a dominant ability. A dominant ability is something such as mediumship. And for whatever reason, I don't know how this works or why, but for whatever reason, everyone in that family has abilities. So all of my siblings also have abilities. Nobody else is a psychic medium, but they were all empaths, and I say were because I have a sister who is deceased, and then they all have other abilities. So my youngest sister, she is interested in paranormal investigations and wanted to start purchasing her own equipment. She had gone to one, participated in an investigation with a group, and then decided, I think this is something that I would like to do. So before purchasing an Ovilus, we decided to try out a spirit box. And how do you just try one out? Well, I'm sure there's places that you can rent them from, but we simply went on the smartphone and found an app. So when we decided to go on this particular day, for whatever reason, on our hike, we decided that this would be a good opportunity to go ahead and try out the spirit box. So we decided to go to a forest when we were going to test out this equipment. I had cautioned my siblings about using equipment and not doing it in your home. There's a lot of reasons for that, but you should never investigate your own house, okay? Public service announcement. You are going to open up a huge can of worms. possibly, and bring things into your home that you do not want. So please don't investigate your own house. You can use your equipment literally anywhere in the daytime. Doesn't have to be night. Please don't do it in your house, okay? So that being said, we decided as we were going to go on our hike that day to test it in the forest. Now, I find it, I'd never used one myself before that because as a psychic medium, I mean, I was just so used to people find me if they need help. It's just always been that way, just very natural for me. Doing a property walk for a client or just out of my own curiosity somewhere. And my thought was, and in this case, it kind of proved to be true, that with some equipment, and I know it depends on where you are, the location, how many people are around, and maybe just being a medium, I don't know. It was like a very crowded, crowded room, and people were just spitting out little things here and there, like, hey, all kinds of different voices. No message, nothing that you could really discern. And for me, focusing on listening to those words, it was odd. It was just odd. You know, I've done readings where people have had so many of their people around that you feel like you're in a crowded living room, right? Think about being at a family reunion and there's like, 50 people come back to your house and they're all like talking and laughing and yelling across the room to each other, and it's just really hard to like get them in line, so to speak. So for me, it was just a little weird because it didn't feel natural again in having a conversation. So people would say, hey, and my sister would ask questions or I would ask questions. But somebody said, grandmother. And we were like, oh, has your grandmother passed? I mean, it just felt so weird. I didn't feel like I had a connection. Oh, that is Savannah Moon. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry. I didn't leave the door open and she flung herself at the door. Anyhow, so we heard grandmother. That was the prominent voice. And we couldn't get any more information and stuff was just like flying past us. And we're like, okay, let's just stop this. So we stopped that and we started to move down the trail. And I'm going to show you, we'll do past Amy, because I want to show you what that trail looked like. So here's the trail we were going on, and there is a deer gate behind us that we come through. So we were walking up this trail, and behind us there is a deer gate, basically, so that the deer don't go through the woods and down a ways into the beautiful garden and eat all their flowers. But we're walking down this trail and there's nobody else there. The energy feels really condensed, which I didn't really think about at the time because, I mean, after all, we had just opened the door to a whole bunch of people. And I heard something and I felt somebody behind us. So I turned around and my sister was like, oh my gosh, did you see something? And I was like, yeah, I saw a gentleman. And, at first when I turned around, I thought he was a solid person, but he wasn't. And he had dark hair. I don't know. He looked like he may have been 40-ish or something. And yeah, and he didn't say anything. And he was gone. So as I said in the beginning, I think I called this mistaken identity. One of the things to keep in mind when you're doing any kind of investigation, or if you are a medium, one of the things that I always try to keep in mind if you're receiving a reading as well is that Spirit's never wrong. It's just the way we interpret things. And we may jump to conclusions so quickly. And it's human nature, right? Anybody who comes to see a medium has something that they want to hear, they want to know, they want to experience. And if you're investigating, and especially if you know the history of the place, there may be people or experiences that you want to know about. And that's why as mediums, when we go into do a property walk, we don't want to know anything. We don't want to know anything. We just want a clean slate. But we were asking just all these voices and asking questions because, you know, with the spirit box, is there anybody here that wants to talk to us? And, you know, that kind of thing. Anyhow, my sister had done the spirit box in another place, maybe two. And it's interesting because I asked her if she had a recording of it. And I looked to see if I did, because as she held it, I would record it, just literally record the phone so that we would have a record of what was received, and so that she could use that. And we had one, which I'm not going to share because it's personal to her, but I know we took a video where it said grandmother in that whole conversation, but we don't have it. So, you know, if it was meant to be shown, I'd show you. But I want to take you back to where we received that message, and then we'll go from there. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't already, hit the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and let's meet weekly around the virtual campfire. So the reason you keep seeing this tree is because this is where we initially started using the spirit box, just listening and asking questions. Is there anyone here that wants to talk to us? You know, make yourself known, all the basic questions. She had some others and I can't remember what they are, but pretty much basic questions that you might ask if you are doing an investigation. And the trail that I showed previously, this is outside the trail, this tree. You walk further, you open the gate, and then you go deep into the woods. So we are way back in the trees. This is a different time frame, but I didn't have a picture of this area during the summertime. So my sister is off to the left of me doing her thing, and I'm just kind of walking through the woods. And we always like to take pictures of angel numbers. Hello, angelic medium. But how many of you guys like to do that when you see like 1111, 111, 333, 444, and so on? Take a picture, you know, a screenshot of your phone and be like, oh my gosh, I got this angel number. Let me know in the comments if you do. So we're walking along and it turns to 111. And my sister saw it and snapped a screenshot and sent it to me. 111, angel numbers. We just do that. 444 is my favorite. But, and I looked at this picture and all of a sudden I realize Saturday, June 10th. And I go, oh my God, Amanda! I screamed her name. Nobody, first of all, wants to hear a medium scream when they're with them. We've been playing with the spirit box. We're in the middle of the woods. We've already had some spirit following us, right? They manifested and scared the jabbers out of her. She was like, what? And I just started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, it's June 10th. We always called my grandmother Nini. That was the nickname that my older sister gave her, and that's what we call her. But I'm like, it's Nini's birthday. And all of a sudden it comes to me. Grandmother, is there anybody here that wants to talk to us? Is there anybody here that wants to make their presence known? Is there anybody here? Blah, blah, blah. All these different voices. Grandmother, I can't remember what other question we asked, but we were trying to get a story from them. And then all of a sudden, I get this flash of a photograph that I know very well, an old photograph that had my grandfather who passed when my dad was a little boy. And it's a picture of my grandfather, my dad, and my aunt. And I was like, oh my God. And then I see the flash of the gentleman. And I'm like, that's him. That's Ed. That's how we knew our grandfather, because that's how my grandma always spoke of him. And I'm like, it's her birthday. Hello, we totally missed it. Something so seemingly upfront, right? I mean, okay, I didn't recognize him because my grandfather, because I was so used to seeing that one outfit. And why, a lot of times when people get readings from me, spirits present themselves in a way that that person will be able to recognize them. Nothing to do with me, but for instance, in this case, if somebody never met their grandfather, but always saw this one photo displayed in grandma's house, then they would know exactly who I was talking about. But because we were out in the woods, in a place that my grandparents have never been, it didn't even occur to us that this could have been who we were speaking to. But Spirit didn't give up, did they? They always find a way. I really wanted to share this to show you that don't always jump to conclusions of what could or could not be. I always tell people that Spirit is never wrong. It's just in how we interpret it. Whether you're doing a paranormal investigation, whether you're getting a reading, whether you are reading someone else, don't force anything. And it's also really interesting to me that a lot of people don't understand, and I get it. Listen, I don't know how this works, right? Being a medium, I was born this way. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to you. But energy, it doesn't matter. Like people will say, can you read me online? Or can you read me over the phone? It doesn't matter. Energy is energy. Your loved ones don't have to be, at their house or at some place that you used to visit. Why wouldn't they show up somewhere else? Just because we were expecting, I don't know what we were expecting or who we were expecting to contact. If your people want to get in touch with you, they realize that you're open to it. If they need to, if it's for your highest use, they're going to find a way. They're going to find a way. So thank you for watching, for listening, for liking and loving and commenting and sharing. And if you enjoy watching, please consider subscribing so you'll get a notification for when the next episode comes out. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time.